Okay. We are in Bossier City, Louisiana, and I am with Reverend Bracken Sheldon. It's good to be with you today, Bracken.
Thank you, Dwight.
Got to spend some time with Sarah, your bride. How long have you guys been married?
We have been married just under 2 years now.
How's it been?
It has been very interesting to go from being able to just do things together into going back into a ministry setting, and it's probably been much more interesting for her than for me, because I knew what I was getting into, and she just finds out daily new things. But she's an excellent help to everything. She keeps me organized and keeps things flowing, and so. This is my first year being in the Wesleyan Church, and really have found it to be a great fit.
Good.
Much better than anything else I had dreamed of. So.
Okay. How long have you been here?
I have been in Bossier City for just under a year. I came in October, so I've been here 10 months.
Okay. So. Many people watching this are not familiar with Bossier City, or where it is, or what it's known for, or what kind of things you tell people about Bossier when you tell them about. So clue us in about Bossier City, maybe even a little bit of Shreveport.
One thing about Bossier City is that when you say, I live in Bossier City, they go, where in the world is that? And you say, it's right across the river from Shreveport, Louisiana. That they can figure out. Bossier City is essentially the hub of one of the nation's largest Air Force bases. Barksdale Air Force Base is here. It is basically one of two spots that have all of the B-52 bombers, and so they are maintained and fly out and make quite a lot of noise when they go. But as far as the climate, there's a much more racially almost a lack of racial diversity to the comparison of what Shreveport is. Shreveport is very racially diverse, and Bossier City is much less, but there is still the racial diversity.
Bring it down to the church now. We're in Bossier City, First Wesleyan Church. Talk about the church and how it arrived here and how long it's been here. A little bit of that, so they get a flavor.
The First Wesleyan Church in Bossier City began with a core group of believers that had come out of one of the former denominations of the Pilgrim Holiness, and they really believed that after the merger that formed the Wesleyan Church, that they really felt that Shreveport and Bossier City needed to have a Wesleyan Church because of the ministry, because of the beliefs, the passion for the lost, and so they called a pastor 35 years ago. Bill Tice was here, and in fact, up to a year ago, he was the pastor here.
God's laid it on your heart to be here and to lead these people. What kind of hopes, dreams, however you'd like to phrase that, goals might you have for this church, for these people? What's stirring in the heart of First Wesleyan of Bossier City?
First Wesleyan has really caught a vision, and the beginning of it was the fact that I caught the vision of what God was really wanting to do with this church. God has a huge plan and a huge mission field in this community, and this church is poised in such a great place for the love and the compassion that they have, but at the point was not necessarily well equipped for being able to do something about it. You know, they had all the desire and none of the qualifications.
Which can be frustrating if you've got a big vision and no strategy of how to get there. It becomes a bit, man, you know. So cool.
And so basically over the last few months, from some outside, so not outside of this church, but not outside of the Wesleyan Church, some resources really came into my hands that helped to really set in a if you could say a vision for a vision, a vision for a vision, to be able to look at the way that things had been going and why we were at the point we are now, and to be able to say we need to have a vision for where things are going. We need to have a plan.
Have you discerned in a maybe short verbiage, what the vision is, or what God's laying on your heart? Is there a picture?
The picture essentially is to look at the church in a simple format. People do not want complexity in their lives. They have so many other things going on, but they really have a hunger for what God can do in their lives, whether they're a basic believer, whether they're the lost and have this empty hole that they don't know what it is. And so it's the point of the church being a center where people are able to move through the process of spiritual maturity. Mm-hmm. And to do that, it's connecting them with Jesus Christ, who's the center of everything that we should be, to be able to connect with other believers, and then to be able to connect with the world, because the purpose of the church is not to be in the church, but to be in mission to the world. And being able to do that, to be able to reach people that are lost, that are yearning for that hole to be filled, and it's the God-shaped hole that they're yearning for. And so basically, we're going to begin a process. In fact, next week, and through August and into the next year, to discern what our purpose and what our mission is, to be able to have a strategy, so that by the time that next spring comes around, the church has a clear identity of who they are, where they're going, why they exist, how they're going to do it, and more importantly is the fact that the people that have gone through that process are equipped to be able to carry that vision out, so that it's not the pastor getting authority or permission from other people to do it, but the church having the authority to be able to carry out the mission of the church.
Together as an army.
And so that as the pastor, I can serve as a spiritual leader and as the visionary, to be able to help continue to help them progress through that, and to discern more and more how to do that without necessarily being the only one that knows what's going on. And so it's very exciting for.
So for you, what you see this fall is really kind of the equipping and the solidifying. This is the vision. This is the mission. Scripture says, write it down, make it clear, so that they might run with it. And at the same time, without a vision, the people perish. So
yes,
find the vision, make it clear, certify what it is, equip people to do it, so that when spring comes, you're able to run with great speed.
Right.
Very cool.
That's very much the core of what we're.
Prayer request would you have? So people watch a video or want to know more about Bossier City and how they can be praying for Bracken and Sarah, or praying for the church. What would be top 1, 2, or 3 kind of prayer requests you would list for us that we can lift you up in?
I think the top one would be for the doubts and the despair. Sometimes we can get into this place of saying, we'll put all this energy in, but we're not sure it's going to make that much of a difference. To really be able to cast off those doubts and those barriers, so that God could really have the heart of the people, have a straight shot at us. In doing that as well is for us also to be able to have not only the barrier between us and God, but also tearing down the barriers between us and the unchurched, the ones that we're wanting to attract in, to be able to feed them. And I guess just in a personal sense, that for God to continue to inspire and to grow me as a pastor and my wife in our relationship together. To be able to give holy leadership to the church, that's not falling into a lot of egotism, but really humbly approaching the throne and being servants. So,
very good. How long have you been married?
Just over a year.
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
Woohoo! Happy anniversary to
Yes.
you. It's coming up soon. Well, and you tackled a lot, right, in terms of moving across the country and coming to this church and a culture you probably were very unfamiliar with, and getting married, bringing your bride here, and so we will lift your marriage up too.
Well, thank
because
you.
That's
Yes.
That's huge in the pastor's family. There can be attacks. There can just be the tiredness of ministry. And so it's important that we lift our pastors up, you and Sarah. So if they're watching, pray for Sarah also and their ministry here in Bossier City, and a long ways away from home.
Yes.
I know that Sarah not only South Dakota but Nebraska, and so
Yes.
both of those are a long ways away from home. So I would encourage each person that's watching this to be praying for you guys and lifting you up and lift the church up. So thanks for spending time with us. It's been good to be with you. It's neat to be in Bossier City. It's a great city. It's an eclectic city, especially with the Air Force Base here, and people from all over the world. So it's always fun to be in Bossier City and see what's happening. So thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to say off the cuff to our viewers?
To our viewers, the Wesleyans are all about opening up the hope that we don't have to wait till heaven to be everything that God's wanting us and creating us to be. So we're looking for with hope and that good news. So
Very cool. High five. All right. Thank you.